you for joining us this morning on Channel 181 for an interesting story on the history of exercise and sports science.
Today we'll be discussing how the Industrial Revolution in World War II had an impact on physical education. Now let's cut over to Nick so you can tell us more about it.
Thanks, you guys. During the Civil War era, the Industrial Revolution increased the amount of factory jobs and took away from the physical activity involved in rural living. This was the furthest onsetting factor to sedentary lifestyle in America. Thanks. Take it away, Liam.
In 1914, Austrian Archduke Franz Ferdinand was assassinated by Serbian nationalists, sparking World War I. While European powers were killing themselves in the millions, America was across the Atlantic, chilling. Until 1917, when unrestricted German submarine attacks on their merchant shipping drew them into declaring war on Germany. After the war, statistics were collected that showed how many of the men were actually unfit for combat and military training. Take it away, Kayla.
Thanks, Liam. In 1941, an even higher increase of unfit men were drafted into World War II, and studies showed that very high rates of cardiovascular disease and type 2 diabetes in fallen soldiers. America came to the conclusion that physical activity had decreased enough and began to pass government legislation that required physical education in public schools. Back to you guys.
Guys, we're now talking about how all of these events led up to the continued presence of government legislation requiring physical education. Each state now has individual school districts that are able to set their guidelines and achieve a higher standard of physical education.
That was quite a story, guys. Thank you all for joining us today on Channel 181, and we'll see you next time, folks.